quality of working life is a term that had been used to describe the broader job-related experience an individual has. Models and components. Various authors and researchers have proposed models of quality of working life which include a wide range of factors. Selected models are reviewed below. Hackman and Oldham drew attention to what they described as psychological growth needs as relevant to the consideration of quality of working life. Several such needs were identified: skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, feedback. They suggested that such needs have to be addressed if employees are to experience high quality of working life. In contrast to such theory-based models, Taylor more pragmatically identified the essential components of quality of working life as basic extrinsic job factors of wages, hours and working conditions, and the intrinsic job notions of the nature of the work itself. He suggested that a number of other aspects could be added, including individual power, employee participation in the management, fairness and equity, social support, use of only a unregistered trademark as present skills, self-development, a meaningful future at work, social relevance of the work or product, effect on extra work activities. Taylor suggested that relevant quality of working life concepts may vary according to organization and employee group. Bohr and colleagues, in an investigation of quality of working life, considered a range of apparently relevant factors, including work involvement, intrinsic job motivation, higher-order need strength, perceived intrinsic job characteristics, job satisfaction, life satisfaction, happiness, and self-rated anxiety. They discussed a range of correlations derived from their work, such as those between work involvement and job satisfaction, intrinsic job motivation and job satisfaction, and perceived intrinsic job characteristics and job satisfaction. In particular, Bohr et al. Found evidence for a moderate association between total job satisfaction and total life satisfaction and happiness, with a less strong, but significant association with self-rated anxiety. Thus, whilst some authors have emphasized the workplace aspects in quality of working life, others have identified the relevance of personality factors, psychological well-being, and broader concepts of happiness and life satisfaction. Factors more obviously and directly affecting work have, however, served as the main focus of attention, as researchers have tried to tease out the important influences on quality of working life in the workplace. Mervis and Lawler suggested that quality of working life was associated with satisfaction with wages, hours and working conditions, describing the basic elements of a good quality of work life as safe work environment, equitable wages, equal employment opportunities, opportunities for advancement, opportunities to learn and grow, protection of individual rights. Barber and Jamal listed what they described as typical indicators of quality of working life, including job satisfaction, job involvement, work role ambiguity, work role conflict, work role overload, job stress, organizational commitment and turnover intentions. Barber and Jamal also explored routinization of job content, suggesting that this facet should be investigated as part of the concept of quality of working life. Some have argued that quality of working life might vary between groups of workers. For example, Ellis and Pompley identified a number of factors contributing to job dissatisfaction and quality of working life in nurses, including poor working environments, resident aggression, workload, inability to deliver quality of care preferred, balance of work and family, shift work, lack of involvement in decision-making, professional isolation, lack of recognition, poor relationships with supervisor peers, role conflict, lack of opportunity to learn new skills. Sergi et al. Suggested that the key factors in quality of working life are need satisfaction based on job requirements, need satisfaction based on work environment, need satisfaction based on supervisory behavior, need satisfaction based on ancillary programs, organizational commitment. They defined quality of working life as satisfaction of these key needs through resources, activities, and outcomes stemming from participation in the workplace. Needs as defined by the psychologist, Abraham Maslow, were seen as relevant in underpinning this model, covering health and safety, economic and family, social, esteem, actualization, knowledge and aesthetics, although the relevance of non-work aspects is played down as attention is focused on quality of work life rather than the broader concept of quality of life. These attempts at defining quality of working life have included theoretical approaches, lists of identified factors, correlational analyses, with opinions varying as to whether such definitions and explanations can be both global, or need to be specific to each work setting. Bearfield used 16 questions to examine quality of working life, and distinguished between causes of dissatisfaction in professionals, intermediate clerical, sales and service workers, indicating that different concerns might have to be addressed for different groups. The distinction made between job satisfaction and dissatisfaction in quality of working life reflects the influence of job satisfaction theories. Hertzberg et al. Used a OE hygiene factors and a OE motivator factors to distinguish between the separate causes of job satisfaction and job dissatisfaction. It has been suggested that motivator factors are intrinsic to the job, that is, job content, the work itself, responsibility and advancement. The hygiene factors or dissatisfaction avoidance factors include aspects of the job environment such as interpersonal relationships, salary, working conditions and security. Of these latter, the most common cause of job dissatisfaction can be company policy and administration, whilst achievement can be the greatest source of extreme satisfaction. Nanjumdesarasamy and Swamy used 9 components to measure quality of work life of employees in private technical institutions: work environment, organization culture and climate, relation and cooperation, training and development, compensation and rewards, facilities, job satisfaction and job security, autonomy of work, adequacy of resources. Male employees are more satisfied than female employees. The Chi-square test confirms that all the demographic factors like gender, designation, salary, department, experience are independent of quality of work life of employees in private technical institution. Study also reveals that there is a significant association between QWL of teaching and non-teaching staffs. From the correlation analysis it is found that adequacy of resources are more correlated and training and development are less correlated with teaching staff's perception towards quality of work life, and in case of non-teaching staff's compensation and rewards are more correlated and work environment are less correlated with QWL. An individual unregistered trademark's experience of satisfaction or dissatisfaction can be substantially rooted in their perception, rather than simply reflecting their or real-world Further, an individual unregistered trademark's perception can be affected by relative comparison am I paid as much as that person, and comparisons of internalized ideals, aspirations, and expectations, for example, with the individual unregistered trademark's current state. In summary, where it has been considered, authors differ in their views on the core constituents of quality of working life. It has generally been agreed however that quality of working life is conceptually similar to well-being of employees but differs from job satisfaction, which solely represents the workplace domain. Quality of working life is not a unitary concept, but has been seen as incorporating a hierarchy of perspectives that not only include work-based factors such as job satisfaction, satisfaction with pay and relationships with work colleagues, but also factors that broadly reflect life satisfaction and general feelings of well-being. More recently, work-related stress and the relationship between work and non-work life domains have also been identified as factors that should conceptually be included in quality of working life. Measurement. There are few recognized measures of quality of working life and jobs, and of those that exist few have evidence of validity and reliability, although the brief index of effective job satisfaction has been systematically developed to be reliable and is rigorously psychometrically validated. A recent statistical analysis of a new measure, the Work-Related Quality of Life Scale, provides support for the psychometric structure of this instrument. The WRQOWL measure uses 6 core factors to explain most of the variation in an individual's quality of working life: job and career satisfaction, working conditions, general well-being, home-work interface, stress at work and control at work. The brief index of effective job satisfaction is a 4-item, purely affective as opposed to cognitive, measure of overall effective job satisfaction that reflects quality of working life. The BIAJS differs from other job satisfaction measures in being comprehensively validated not just for internal consistency, reliability, temporal stability, convergent and criterion-related validities, but also for cross-population invariance by nationality, job level, and job type. Reported internal consistency reliabilities range between 0.81 and 0.87. The Job and Career Satisfaction Scale of the Work-Related Quality of Life Scale is said to reflect an employer unregistered trademark's feelings about, or evaluation of, their satisfaction or contentment with their job and career and the training they receive to do it. Within the WRQOL measure, JCS is reflected by questions asking how satisfied people feel about their work. It has been proposed that this positive job satisfaction factor is influenced by various issues including clarity of goals and role ambiguity, appraisal, recognition and reward, personal development, career benefits and enhancement and training needs. The General Well-Being Scale of the Work-Related Quality of Life Scale aims to assess the extent to which an individual feels good or content in themselves, in a way which may be independent of their work situation. It is suggested that general well-being both influences, and is influenced by work. Mental health problems, predominantly depression and anxiety disorders, are common, and may have a major impact on the general well-being of the population. The WRQOL-GWB factor assesses issues of mood, depression and anxiety, life satisfaction, general quality of life, optimism and happiness. The WRQOL stress at work subscale reflects the extent to which an individual perceives they have excessive pressures, and feel stressed at work. The WRQOL-SAW factor is assessed through items dealing with demand and perception of stress and actual demand overload. Whilst it is possible to be pressured at work and not be stressed at work, in general, high stress is associated with high pressure. The Control at Work subscale of the WRQOL scale addresses how much employees feel they can control their work through the freedom to express their opinions and being involved in decisions at work. Perceived control at work as measured by the Work-Related Quality of Life scale is recognized as a central concept in the understanding of relationships between stressful experiences, behavior and health. Control at work, within the theoretical model underpinning the WRQOL, is influenced by issues of communication at work, decision-making and decision control. The WRQOL Homework Interface Scale measures the extent to which an employer is perceived to support the family and home life of employees. This factor explores the interrelationship between home and work-life domains. Issues that appear to influence employee HWI include adequate facilities at work, flexible working hours and the understanding of managers. The Working Conditions Scale of the WRQOL assesses the extent to which the employee is satisfied with the fundamental resources, working conditions and security necessary to do their job effectively. Physical working conditions influence employee health and safety and thus employee quality of working life. This scale also taps into satisfaction with the resources provided to help people do their jobs. Applications. Regular assessment of quality of working life can potentially provide organizations with important information about the welfare of their employees, such as job satisfaction, general well-being, work-related stress and the homework interface. Studies in the UK university sector have shown a valid measure of quality of working life exists and can be used as a basis for effective interventions. Morrell and Cooper recently reported that a low level of well-being at work is estimated to cost about 5 to 10% of gross national product per annum, yet quality of working life as a theoretical construct remains relatively unexplored and unexplained within the organizational psychology research literature. A large chunk of most people unregistered trademark lives will be spent at work. Most people recognize the importance of sleeping well, and actively try to enjoy the leisure time that they can snatch. But all too often, people tend to see work as something they just have to put up with, or even something they don't unregistered trademark to even expect to enjoy. Some of the factors used to measure quality of working life pick up on things that don't unregistered trademark T actually make people feel good, but which seem to make people feel bad about work if those things are absent. For example, noise if the place where someone works is too noisy, they might get frequent headaches, or find they cannot concentrate, and so feel dissatisfied. But when it is quiet enough they don't unregistered trademark T feel pleased or happy, they just don't unregistered trademark T feel bad. This can apply to a range of factors that affect someone's working conditions. Other things seem to be more likely to make people feel good about work and themselves once the basics are okay at work. Challenging work can make them feel good. Similarly, opportunities for career progression and using their abilities can contribute to someone's quality of working life. A recent publication of the National Institute of Clinical Excellence emphasizes the core role of assessment and understanding of the way working environments pose risks for psychological well-being through lack of control and excessive demand. The emphasis placed by NICE on assessment and monitoring well-being springs from the fact that these processes are the key first step in identifying areas for improving quality of working life and addressing risks at work. See also, Work-Life Balance. References, Hackman J. and Oldham G. The Job Diagnostic Survey. New Haven, Yale University. Taylor J. C. and Cooper, C. L. and Mumford, E. The Quality of Working Life in Western and Eastern Europe. ABP, A.B. War, P. Cook, J. and Wall, T. Scales for the Measurement of Some Work Attitudes and Aspects of Psychological Well-Being. Journal of Occupational Psychology 52, 129-148. Mervis, P.H. and Lawler, E.E. Accounting for the Quality of Work Life. Journal of Occupational Behavior. 5. 197-212. Baba, V.B. and Jamal, M. Routinization of Job Context and Job Content as Related to Employees' Quality of Working Life, a Study of Psychiatric Nurses. Journal of Organizational Behavior. 12. 379-386. Ellison and Pomplier 2002 Quality of Working Life for Nurses. Commonwealth Department of Health and Aging. Canberra. A. B. Sergi, M. J., Ifrati D., Siegel, P. and Lee, D. A New Measure of Quality of Work Life Based on Need Satisfaction and Spillover Theories. Social Indicators Research, 55, 241-302. Bearfield, Quality of Working Life. Assett Working Paper 86. University of Sydney www.acirt.com, Hertzberg F., Morsner B., and Snyderman B., The Motivation to Work. New York, Wiley. T. S. Nanjundesarasamy, Swami Dr. Quality of Work Life of Employees in Private Technical Institution. International Journal for Quality Research 7, 3/14. ISSN 1800-6450. Lawler 3E and Porter L. Managers' Pay and Their Satisfaction with Their Pay. Personnel Psychology. 19363-73. Lawler, E. E. Strategies for Improving the Quality of Work Life. American Psychologist, 37, 2005, 486-493. Danner, K. and Griffin, R. W. Health and Wellbeing in the Workplace, A Review and Synthesis of the Literature. Journal of Management, 25, 357-384. Lescocco, K. A. and Rochelle, A. N. Influences on the Quality of Work and Non-Work Life, 2 Decades in Review. Journal of Vocational Behavior, 39, 182-225. A. B. Thompson, E. R. FTT A Brief Index of Effective Job Satisfaction. Group and Organization Management 37, 275 Euro 307 doi, 10.1177/10596011114342001. ABC Van La, D., Edwards, J. and Easton, S. The Work-Related Quality of Life Scale for Healthcare Workers. Journal of Advanced Nursing, Volume 60, Number 3, pages 325–333, Easton, S. and Van Laar, D. User Manual for the Work-Related Quality of Life Scale. University of Portsmouth. UK. http www.co.uk/WRQOL%20 user%20 manual%20 v38%20 ebook%2003% November 20, 14 PDF, Edwards, J., Van Laar, D. L. and Easton, S. The Work-Related Quality of Life Scale for Higher Education Employees. Quality in Higher Education. 15, 3, 207–219. Worrell, L. and Cooper, C. L. The Quality of Working Life, Managers Unregistered Trademark Health and Well-Being. Executive Report, Chartered Management Institute. National Institute of Clinical Excellence Public Health Guidance 22. Promoting Mental Well-Being Through Productive and Healthy Working Conditions.